supporting pieces that might need to improve a bit.
So the actual champions locked in for the first two haven't changed. But the Jhin going in is definitely going to be a target at utility and range. So potentially they thought they didn't have enough ways of actually from long range affecting Mad. And to be fair, like Syndra Jinx is an incredibly long range duo, especially when paired with a strong front line. So the Jhin is going to help answer that a little bit from Vikings.
Definitely will. Also nice to have that initial potential setup, whether it's the curtain call or that deadly flourish to lock someone down. MDK, it worked. So why not just run it back? You have the luxury of a game advantage. Ksante, still the safe blind pick that he has always been, despite many nerfs over the years.
I mean, I wouldn't say Myrwn had a huge impact on that game. The Camille definitely got a little bit out of hand later, but I can see how the team themselves would say that that was more of a their own hands issue rather than a draft issue, because they're fairly comfortable just running back exactly the 3 champions they had in that last game here. I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw the Camille here instead of the Jarvan, but we'll have to wait and see, because Jarvan is very good against both Jinx and Syndra from a jungle perspective, a lot better than something like Alistar.
I mean, being able to go unstoppable with the ultimate against the potential scatter the weak just makes it so difficult for Fresskowy to play comfortable at any kind of close range. And on top of that, Jarvan has been one of the picks that has been the most hyped in solo queue, in champs queue, so need to see if that hype is warranted. Obviously, just a couple of passive percentage damage buffs at a couple points, I believe, at the start of the year and in some of the most recent patches, so just a little bit more power into his kit, but overall, we've always known, in terms of that CC, in terms of that setup, Jarvan has always been a pick worth considering. For
sure, and I think the buff is less of a reason why we're seeing him, and the bigger reason why we're seeing him is there's more teams whose mid and AD carry lack dashes.
Sure.
I think like your checklist for is Jarvan good here, you have both check marks when the Jinx and the Syndra are locked in. So it absolutely is very good here just because of the teamfight power of the ultimate.
I don't know, Jatt. I always really like when they pick Jarvan into LeBlanc. That always feels really effective.
LeBlanc's area.
It always feels like you're going to be have a high impact moment on that J4. But no, obviously the circumstance is right. The patch is favoring it as well. With 80 carries out of the mid lane, a lot more room for Jarvan to shine. And now the Poppy, interestingly, going to be the pick that is taken away. I mean, if you look at Poppy in the early lane, if you're not going to go for a lane swap, this is a champion with very high base damage, a lot of immediate kill threat. If you opt to go for something like Hail of Blades, a very lane-focused rune, can really provide a lot of threat onto the Jinx. So instead, Rell getting covered, still I think probably best in class in terms of blind pickable supports, even over Nautilus, just because of it's just Alistar with a better laning phase, more or less, in so many games.
Yeah, I mean, I want them to lock in the Rell because that was my pick for most deaths in the tournament, and you need to be picked a lot to die a lot. So
okay. I was like, that was some wild flame, but I misunderstood your intent there.
You just need to be picked to die. Last year I had Nautilus, it didn't work out. It ended up being Rell, but enough of that. Same picks for Mad so far.
A different order though. They're giving us, you know, just a little bit of a mix up here. Maybe hoping to get the Nidalee banned away. I mean, double AP mid jungle duo can cost you. Wouldn't be surprised to see some potential Merc treads come through. But again, the amount of CC you're actually mitigating here isn't incredibly high. Now that the Rell's locked in, it's a bit of a different story. But Alistar, the hover on the opposite side, again, early lane up until level 3, very likely to concede the 2v2 unless Jhin can fully balance out that early power. That said, as we saw, the lane phase wasn't the big deal in the previous game. It was a lot more about that mid to late game, those objective setups, and that diligence around vision control.
Absolutely. I think there was a little bit of a mind game going on there between Vikings and Mad, though, with the way that Mad actually was able to control the Rell. I think if you had to pick between Alistar, Rell, which one would Vikings want? They'd actually want the Rell. What they wouldn't want would be for Supa to have like a range support like Lulu and just take over the laning phase, because they don't want to be in another swap situation with the Renekton against the Ksante. So I think Mad used that leverage to actually get the better engager on their team, because I do think that the Rell is slightly stronger than Alistar on this patch.
Yeah, I think clever thought process, and laning phase can dictate a lot of these early plays, and Rell is certainly favored early on. Much more reliable version of Alistar in so many circumstances. It's the ult, really, in the later stage portions of the game where Alistar can balance out some of that, the dive threat, but no Renata, no Lulu, no range supports. Once again, we have 2 compositions set to brawl, but I really like the shotgun kind of that VKE are bringing here. Jarvan, Orianna, classic combination. A Jhin who can support without needing to put his life at risk. Alistar as well. And Nanaue on something that isn't birthday. Mad Lions don't make them sad. I'm assuming that means they're a Mad Lions fan. If they're a VKE fan, they've already started to make them sad, and I'm sorry for that.
And do we see a swap again? I think it's absolutely in the cards, just with the Jinx and the Ksante and how it seemed quite effective for Mad in the first game. Based on this setup, it would say no, but you can still switch through the mid lane whenever you want.
I only think that worked out so well because of the absolutely crazy timing where Myrwn shows up bot lane, gets all the XP and a kill.
Yeah.
I don't think you can guarantee that again, but Jatt,
they're doing it.
You might be the wiser man here. They are setting up for it. Supa still on the top side, past a minute. This is going to be difficult for Nanaue.
I'm just wondering what's going to be different, because that was like such a standard swap, at least what I would consider standard now, where when they try and crash the wave, you bring down 2 level 2 people, and if you're doing it like full standard, you teleport in a little bit earlier and everyone just like walks away, and then you're not even getting that many plates. That's how I'd like to see Vikings actually respond to it, is they just stack the wave and they get as many plates bottom as they can. Going for the dive is actually, if Mad have enough experience to defend it, it's not going to be that big a deal.
See if anything happens here as we approach. Actually, we're not going to be approaching level 2. I forgot there's 2 champions in this lane. The old patterns of mid lane in my head. I'm not used to the new reality of 2v2s. So see if there's any angle here. Of course, Gury being spotted on the ward means MDK likely to just start playing towards the top side. Level 2 for BA will be big.
Yeah, I mean, they're vertical jungling. You can see the support is getting level 2 by sharing, then he leaves. The top lane should get level 2 by sharing, and then he leaves. And then Alvaro finds the jungler, harass him if he can, actually. This could be a big win if he just walks into this bush.
Alvaro.
Just try and push him off. He doesn't have smite.
Yeah, on the way down. That's an ignite already ticking. Aftershock damage going to come in with Gury. Quick flash, quick fingers. Means he'll make it out of that one, but doesn't have ignite. Might still die here. Martial Cadence, not that buffed. Fresskowy on the way down. There's surely no way Gury gets out of this one. A Dark Sphere, a single auto, first blood for MDK. That's a heartbreaker early on for VKE. Fresskowy and Alvaro going for a bit more chip damage here, but Katy there to cover at the very least. TP's back to the bottom side, coming in from Myrwn. Meanwhile, TP from Nanaue on the opposite side. So mirrored start, but the kill's still in favor, and Elyoya already arriving, knowing the jungler's gone. Katy's got nowhere to go. Might still have enough space to walk away. Why is he sticking around?
He's fine. He's sticking around because he wants to kill.
No, I'm saying he's like, what? Why can't he walk back in?
It doesn't have flash.
Fair.
We learned that in game 1. But right here, this is why you swap, Drakos. It's because you can create these somewhat chaotic situations. And to me, Vikings just slept on a little bit. They weren't expecting Alvaro to go looking for his jungler. And just Jarvan gets a little bit low doing that clear, especially when you're in the enemy's jungler, because those camps, when you're counter jungling early in the game, actually have more durability. So you hit them slower, they do more damage back to you, and they just get 2 kills manufactured off of this swap, maybe more.
Gury's going to be in trouble here. They've spotted him now. Alvaro's going to go and going to miss on the initial Shattering Strike, but that's a level 2 Jarvan. MDK bullying VKE in this early game. 1.5k, 1.6k gold lead, not even 4 minutes in, and Shogun's now got nowhere to play. Nidalee's just going to start auto-attacking with that red buff.
She has cleanse.
Taking their time. Pullback is there. The cleanse potentially a little bit late. Elyoya wants to go for more. 4-shot big. Okay, walking away. But you're so right, Jatt. If it comes down to a situation where you're trying to out-clear speed to Nidalee early on, you're just not going to win that, especially as a J4. And now, Gury's life is miserable because he doesn't have a topside jungle. You can see him now on that minimap. He's wandering in to see if he can even get a little crumb, a little scuttlecraft, just desperately wants level 3, but luckily not on the top side of the map, means he will at least be able to get something back. We'll see if he can counter jungle any camps, but right now he's at a pretty massive early deficit. 800 gold overall, on top of a bit of an XP lead coming in from Elyoya, which will only continue to grow as he farms the rest of those camps.
Yeah, I wonder how much he's going to continue to just be in Jarvan's face. He's got so many camps of his own that he can go clear. I think that's what Elyoya is going to do, just kind of take that free golden experience, because when he gets his first item, he's really going to be able to walk in and continue to punish. But that was just overall beautifully done by Mad, and I'd say poorly done by Vikings. If they have the Jarvan, like, I'm going to go back a little bit. I think as long as nothing crazy is happening, I'm going to go back a bit to like what they could have done to maybe prevent the Jarvan from dying, is they need to they probably just need to have Renekton babysitting the Jarvan if the enemy support is going to be looking for you in the jungle, because that way he can't actually go for the all-in. You don't have to worry about experience share in that case, and the Renekton falls a little bit behind, but at least the game stays stable, and you'll gain it back with the additional plate gold that you'll get by swapping. So every time a team initiates a swap, they are at a disadvantage for initiating based on the geometry of the map and the increased turret fortification, but the advantages can come through experience and through the team comp being superior. So this case, the team comp of the Nidalee was a better clear than the Jarvan, and the Rell was extremely good at finding the Jarvan, and that's the advantage that they were able to exploit.
Also, those Rell early levels. Until Alistar has level 3, he just doesn't really have that much damage in the kit in a full rotation, even with Ignite. And so if there's a 2v2 Alvaro versus Elyoya, or Alvaro versus Gury and BA, they're not winning that in any circumstance, and the lane swap allows them to find that situation where they can leverage 2v2 strength that in a normal standard lane game of League of Legends, you're just not going to see.
Yeah, so again, it's about a 2,000 gold lead. Feels like that's been the gold lead the entire series. It just happened a little earlier in game 2.
Yeah, I think this game's a little bit harder to play. Credit to Gury, he's still walking in like these belong to him. Elyoya says no, hits the spear and the smite.
I mean, it's a level 6 Renekton, so he's got to be a little bit cautious, but look at him just playing on the edge there. Oh, so good.
Alvaro's here too.
Spear. They can see him with Sweeper.
Stop a couple backs. Gury in trouble. Nanaue now has to cancel his recall. Supa is already moving up to the tower. Level 6 Renekton probably can hold this solo, but luckily Shogun's on the way, so he won't be in a situation where he has to. MDK can't afford to overextend here. The sheer amount of CC and setup is big, but with Renekton losing his entire health bar, perfectly timed rocket. Nanaue needed to be a bit quicker on pressing that R button as Gury's gonna die too. A double kill for the Jinx. This is an absolute disaster. Elyoya, Supa, Alvaro just dancing on Viking Esports.
And they're not going to stop. Nidalee has enough mod to just keep throwing spears. Supa's getting this next wave, and they are going to have to abandon this turret.
Thing is, they don't know if Rell is there, so they have to leave. Despite Alvaro's low health bar, a single piece of CC hitting is a death sentence for Shogun and BA. Now they're starting to wander up, but there's nowhere they can go. There's no play they can make on the map. They're just forced to play to the tune of MDK. Stand under this tower as long as they can. Gury's showing up again. Topside, at least he's got some Krugs to get some XP back.
Wow, they're playing clean. So I did not see Supa hit level 6, and I'm willing to say Nanaue, Renekton, did not see the level 6 either. He's all discombobulated, just like I am. But that was such a beautiful exchange, because absolutely, your level 6 Renekton, you think, they're mad if they come for me. But my goodness, they were not. Or they were? You gave me like a little...
They are mad. I mean, you said they're mad.
I know, I didn't actually mean to do it.
I know, but that's why I gave you the thumbs up.
Thanks, bro.
It's like when Amazing played, and we always had to call plays solid instead of amazing.
I mean, okay, Jinx is actually level 6 for quite a while. Stunned into Airborne, has a window where he could have pressed R and maybe lived through, but then he just gets one shot because it is a 4v3 where they lose 2 for 1 and both kills going over to Supa's Jinx, and then also Vikings having to abandon this turret is just the cherry on top.
And when you fall behind in these skirmishes, even when you're under the tower, look how free it is for Jinx to walk up, get a cheeky auto. Nidalee walk up, throw an auto, throw a spear. There's nothing you can do. You're literally just trapped there waiting, hoping that they don't have enough in the tank to force the dive. It's Fresskowy, nice scatter, bit of additional damage. And we take a look at the overall map state. With a lead like this, MDK can do a lot. But Myrwn matched up against Shogun. Shogun not the Ezreal anymore. Might need to burn the flash here. Does have cleanse as well. Q3 ready to go, flash forward, looking to lock him up, but Shogun clean flash out to safety, will at least survive for now. Myrwn gonna immediately cancel the all out to get those resistances back. Elyoya caught, good upfront damage. Myrwn gonna try to body block and evolve, the shockwave there. Elyoya taken down, VKE, good heads up play, the rocket not gonna hit either. Myrwn now gonna be in trouble as well. One last shot for Shogun, but he reloads. Now gonna find the captive audience as well. Good punish, coming through from VKE on the bottom side. Myrwn overcommitting, Elyoya overcommitting.
If we learned anything from game 1, it's that Vikings is never not looking for a play. So they're down, and again, they go top lane at Supa.
Two plays across the entire map. Traps are there, but I don't think they're going to save him. Just barely able to walk away. Nanaue can't get close. BA, how long are the cooldowns? No flash, no ignite. Maybe they're just going to settle for Alvaro in the meantime, but he's got a flash as well. Last tick coming through, one auto will stun, but Alvaro gets the stun back. Stops any follow-up. No rocket for Supa. Used it in the earlier play. Tried to get a kill bottom lane. Nidalee on the way up.
I mean, credit to Supa, he actually held his flash that entire time, so BA never actually had a kill angle. If he goes back for another headbutt, it would have just been flashed. And they are able to get out of that situation without a death, but they obviously did lose Myrwn and Elyoya in the earlier exchange, so a little bit of that early lane swap lead goes away.
Unfortunately, still leads in just about every single role. And a reminder that MDK, you know, it has been a very up and down year. They started winter incredibly strong, dropped off a cliff, made a miracle run to get back into the playoffs, eventually qualify for the LEC season finals, the final portion of our year. And it seems like continuing that upward trend.
And this is why I think they're such a controversial team in terms of Europe's representative, because in terms of regular season performance, they were never above 4th. In terms of playoffs performances, they frequently were. So they were 2nd in winter split with a hot run, and then they were able to beat G2 in that best of 5, which is ultimately what qualified them, as they're going for multiple plays
Shogun
now.
Caught out. That ulti not quite going to finish the job, but Alvaro and Supa able to get some work done in the bottom lane. Katy might be in trouble. Shockwave to lead the wave again, stopping Elyoya from forcing the dive. Quick kill to MDK. Katy luckily able to hold on to his life, but I mean, it's a good call out, right? And I think MDK always seem to find a slightly frustrating way for some fans to qualify to international champions. They're complaining about win rate, they complain about best of 5s, complain about them losing to EG, but they're not losing to anybody right now. They are smacking VKE around. We're gonna have to see what they can do to bring themselves back in this game, because while some of the gold leads are manageable, Supa is getting very powerful very quickly.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, they're playing this game really cleanly. You can see they're well prepped and willing to pull off lane swaps at the very early stages of this tournament, which I think is just going to make other teams question and just question their drafts, have to worry about lane swaps every time they play them. So I think if you're going to lane swap, doing it in the very first game of Worlds is actually really good, because it puts other teams on notice that you're going to be trying it. And then I think potentially the, you know, whatever nerves they might have had in game 1 seem to be gone here in game 2, because I think they're playing a lot cleaner.
A lot more confident. That much is certain. Finding those angles, really punishing VKE for getting maybe a little bit complacent in the context of that lane swap. So easy to just go through the steps one at a time, not respect the potential for counterplays. Now finally, a standard 2v2 on the bottom side of Shogun. Some nice movement, gets him away from the Shattering Strike.
Yeah, and I think they're going to be getting this turret now with Elyoya behind them on Nidalee. If they kill the turret and then go for kills, it could be a
reset.
lot.
They're going to be there for Supa. Extra movement speed starts to run forward. Shogun, if he gets hit by any piece of CC, likely to fall. Nice sidestep, nice knockup coming for BA, but still the traps are going to connect. Luckily has the Unbreakable Will. In the meantime, Grub's getting taken down. VKE likely just to even this up 3-2-3, but the tower has already fallen.
Yeah. I mean, when like the best thing that happens is that your AD carry didn't die after losing your turret.
Oh,
that would have been a nice steal.
That would have been a good steal, but Gury, good backstep.
TLDR, Vikings is not in a good spot, because I was like, wow, amazing, Jhin lived after losing his turret to the 3-0 Jinx.
We're in the context of a difficult game, so small wins feel like big wins right now.
And we could come back to this 30 minutes from now and be like, you know, if Shogun wouldn't have sidestepped that chopper, this game would be completely different. But as of now,
4 Grub left to the Jinx would feel pretty terrible. But 3-3, not too big of a threat, just some additional damage on side lane. Shogun now at least getting a bit more wave clear here. Going to be able to match Supa a bit more. Supa doesn't know they're in the bush. Instant combo. That is a dead Jinx. Probably had time to push flash. Probably didn't.
It wouldn't have mattered, I think. I think it's actually better that he didn't hit flash there, because how the ability to follow with Jarvan ultimate was there the entire time. That was a really big play for Vikings. I'd have to watch it back to see how they were able to actually get vision in that bush without Supa being respectful of it. That's the type of stuff that Vikings had in mind when they picked this team comp, the Jarvan Orianna especially, is how they want to be able to play this fight onto the Jinx Syndra, the 2 low mobility carries. Because the early game was so disastrous, it looked like this game was going to be a runaway, but the 2 kills they got in the bottom lane about 3 minutes ago, that pick, and, you know, Shogun not dying there when they killed the turret, are the things keeping them in this game.
Little victories. That's going to be what matters. All they can do to stay in this game as much as possible. You can see 9 turret plates to 2. Further indication of how far ahead MDK have been. Now going to grab the Herald. We'll see if they want to use it once again to break mid lane. Supa with a push set up on the top side if they want to use it very rapidly, but frankly already have control on that top side of the map. Probably do not need to drop it there. Supa and a Demolish proc will at least get most of that health down, and Shogun too far away, so the tower going to fall. See what the setup is for the next big objective, but the map very clearly favoring MDK as well as the gold. Almost 4K in their favor, only 15 minutes in. It's a massive lead.
Yeah, 4K, 2,000 of it is Jinx over Jhin.
Yeah.
So that's good, especially when their own Ksante is 700 gold behind their Renekton. They literally don't care about that. It would be mid-bot that they care about the most. Alvaro, who cares about the 1,000 gold on the support, but he'll take it with how much plating and kills they've gotten in the game.
Yeah, and of course the match card lane economy snapshot, highlighting how far ahead, really, MDK are. But need to see what the itemization choices for Alvaro, how he chose to spend that money. Locket is big, stopping that Orianna burst. And now we've got a bit of creative driving here, the wraparound.
Zoom, zoom!
Knock into the tower, he's clean with it.
Grab it again.
He's watched enough initial D, he knows what he needs to do. Will they get back into the Herald? I don't think so. Initial knock coming to BN.
I mean, it's 45.
Decent. Now the engage coming in from Alvaro. This is very favorable. Gury now trying to look for an angle, but he just doesn't have anything. Supa immediately hops into the Herald to stop any potential follow-up, and the play just fizzles. But they do manage to take down Myrwn. Now it's a reset for Supa. VKE needs to get the hell out because Katy's already blinking out far. Supa wants to step up. He can see 3 kills in his eyes, but he's just out of range.
Oh man, I mean that play started with Fresskowy just deleting people on the Syndra, finishes his Ludens, has I think level 11 at the start of that play. So I'll have to check if he was 10 or 11. If he's 11, it's a big power spike for that ultimate. Otherwise, he's just fed out of his mind if he killed him at level 10. But that's huge. They get the 2 mid turrets with the Rift Herald once again. We'll see the very start of this play. Yes, he does at level 11. He camps in the bush. One-shot Shogun. That's exactly what you want to do on Syndra, is look for a play as soon as you hit level 11. And then I was actually really surprised that Vikings even thought about fighting this 4 versus 5, but they do a pretty good job of nearly getting something. But when they don't have even Shockwave, very surprised they go for this fight.
Difficult for Gury. Fresskowy left out to die there. Supa's immediately charging the Herald to try to survive any potential follow-up.
I mean, yeah, Supa didn't need to go into that Herald because there was no Orianna ult to follow up at that point. But I understand the sentiment when you're playing Jarvan Orianna. You're always worried in the back of your head about that combo.
Definitely have to be careful, have to play respectfully. But again, we're in a situation where this man is so rich, he will soon be able to buy such wonderful AD carry luxury items as Seeker's Arm Guard. Help keep himself alive a little bit longer. But for now, still working towards that Phantom Dancer.
And you know what, Drakos? I want to take something back that I said about 3 minutes ago. When we saw the 1,000 gold lead for Alvaro, and I said, who cares?
Yeah.
Actually, I think it actually does matter. The first support item, one locket versus no locket, is actually a really big difference. So if it was late game 1,000, who cares? But on this power spike, it's big.
Yep, and still making plays.
Look at that
Doesn't need any money for that. But the locket does mitigate the follow-up. The Orianna and the Jarvan maulding.
He didn't use it, I'm sorry.
It still looks cool.
Give it power.
Yeah, you want to talk about how important it could be. But in this case, it's not, because MDK are just wildly far ahead, I think is the
they're styling this game.
Like, this is just, and I feel for VKE, it's desperation. Every single play has a price of admittance, and right now their base is the price of admittance. So we'll see if they want to try to go for anything. Nanaue isolated off to the side, a lot of resources burned to try and get this Renekton down, but with Katy out of the picture, they don't really have good damage to punish the resources MDK are committing onto that tankier target. Nanaue double dash out to safety, BA trying to get a bit more space. Shogun at least getting 1 kill. Curtain call now coming out, has to be careful of Elyoya. The spears are going to need to be body blocked as Supa gets hit by 1. Last bullet does not connect. Katy finally here has the Banshees as well, but ultimately just kind of delaying what feels like an inevitable push from MDK.
Yeah, good defense to stop that turret from going down. I had to check. Locket reduced 488 damage that fight, which, to be fair, is 488 damage more than the Alistar reduced because he doesn't have one. So score 1 for the Locket.
Why are you shaming this man for being broke? He's not supposed to have money. He's a support. He can't afford the nice things.
Fresskowy just Syndraing all over Shogun. I think we're going to see a lot more Syndra this tournament. He's having a heck of a game so far. Voidstaff second this game instead of the Storm Surge. A little bit interesting since there's not that much MR, but when you're this far ahead, who really does item police?
Anticipating perhaps future MR purchases, or at the very least the Verdant Barrier or Merc Treads from the side of VKE. VKE, the map getting smaller and smaller for them. Their vision line, very defensive, very much on their own side of the map, not really able to get into that Baron pit. Of course, we're only 19 minutes in. I know it feels like a much longer game, but Baron hasn't even spawned yet. When it does, MDK can delete it pretty quickly, just given how accelerated that Jinx is. See if VKE can put up a fight there, if they're just going to be forced to concede yet another objective. Myrwn off on the side is going to use the ult to kind of taxi himself out to safety, but
oh man, he
wouldn't be Myrwn if he didn't go for the 1v1 instead. Now flashes down, the rocket now coming in. Nanaue just needs to stun that man. Knocked back. A little bit of redemption for Gury there as he turns it back. Could have walked away, but instead he chose to fight. Will cost him his life.
I mean, he just wanted to be part of the club.
Yeah, he's 0-4-1. He's just like, guys, I just want to participate in the game of League of Legends.
He's looking at everybody else. He's got a 5-1 Jinx, 3-0 Syndra, 2-1. He's like, guys. But he ends up making it worse. He forced it.
He's there for the entertainment. You know, he's getting into the...
It's going to be fine.
Pulls him into the arena, gets the 1v1.
I will say, for the negative Nancys out there, they're going to definitely use this as ammo the next time Myrwn plays Ksante.
Yep.
Because they're most likely going to 2-0 this series with 2 Ksante games, so he's going to be undefeated on it. But he was 4,000 gold.
It's all about how you contextualize the stats, though.
It's true.
This is Myrwn's Worlds 2024, or could be undefeated Ksante.
Yeah. 2 picks, 2 wins.
2 picks, 2 wins.
What do you want?
You don't need to look at the replay. That's all you need. Myrwn.
Teleport flanks.
Looking for the angle. Doesn't have ult. Uses his taxi in the previous play. But getting closer. Q3 ready to go. Supa spots Nanaue crucially. Gury off to the side. Bit of a split use of resources here. Nanaue just slowly getting chipped. The Jinx is too strong. Supa on a killing spree. Gets a reset. Has to be careful about not walking into the choke. The ball will reset back to Katy. Trying to find a good angle. The shockwave. Not even going to come out. The retreat is there. Supa resetting left and right. Yet another scatter of the week. Fresskowy, good angle. Gury getting cut down. Flash away from the rocket, but now Supa just flashes to follow. A triple kill. The team in decent position to try and find him the penta, but I don't think they need it. I think they can end it here.
I mean, they're so strong.
Nothing if not stylish on the MDK lineup. His first penta on an international stage, unofficially, as the timer has expired, but they want to give it to him, but instead Elyoya will say no. You have not earned it. Not official.
I don't think they'll end on this push either, but they're going to be able to recall with a huge amount of gold. They will want to stop the objective bounty going over to Vikings, so there's a chance Elyoya does stay on the map here. But just watching this one more time, they need to stay connected. That's the biggest thing for them when they have this big of a lead. So Fresskowy freely uses flash to get back to the team. And then the only thing they're looking out for here is Jarvan Orianna combo. So when both tanks basically move forward, there's no space that the Jarvan Orianna can actually reach to get onto the carry. So just a well-played front-to-back team fight. It's going to be a lot easier when you're this far ahead in gold and you can just flash forward freely, but still well-played. Crit at the end there to get the triple kill.
Yeah, very good. VKE, you can see, thought they had the angle, thought they had the setup. Nanaue getting spotted, and MDK are just quick to collapse on the flanker, stop any potential.
Oh, the bounty!
The bounty will get claimed. The rocket finally connecting onto Gury, but will not end his life or take the objective as Fresskowy on a side lane. Syndra not normally a side lane threat in the context of League of Legends games, but with the kind of lead that Fresskowy has, is going to demand a bit of respect here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've gotten multiple picks just off of him pushing a wave, going into Fog of War, and then one-shotting Shogun. So it's a very strong game for Fresskowy, and I think just as an overall point, I'm expecting a pretty good tournament out of Fresskowy based on people's impression of him throughout the summer split, because I just don't think the AD carry meta necessarily suited him. He has really bad win rates on the majority of AD carries when I was watching, and even when they beat G2 in that best of 5 that ultimately qualified them for Worlds, one of those was a Vex win, there was a LeBlanc win, and that's like during the AD carry meta. So
Galio, like he was experimenting a lot, and certainly a lot of those picks are going to feel better in the context of this meta. TP coming in, but it might be too late. The team is just collapsing. So much initial damage going in onto Gury, knockback onto BA, getting the Alistar away from the rest of the team. Now it's been Katy, who's been caught out. Shockwave going to connect onto 2. Nanaue is here, but I don't think they have the damage. Now going instantly in, but Myrwn is there to try and peel for the Jinx. Supa in trouble now. One more shot might be able to finish it, but Supa still standing. Everyone on the team ready to body block for this Jinx. A double kill for Elyoya. VKE thought they had the angle, but it does not pay off. The rocket, Gury, still standing, still living. Shogun running. The Jhin probably not long for this world. Gury ready to give his life to protect his AD carry, but there's just not enough bullets in Jin's gun to finish this one.
Okay, 4 people wanted to end. Supa wanted to do Baron. And he also didn't want to get hit by random Jarvan EQ, so he's far away from the team. More power to Mad, though. They are getting more and more fed. The Nidalee spears are going to be able to keep them a little bit healthier. The small amount of lifesteal that Supa has is going to help them heal on this Baron, and they're just going to extend their lead even further.
Nothing really to be done. Myrwn covering any potential angle of attack for Gury. A lot of low health bars, but denying J4 access to the pit. Stops any potential for the steal. MDK walking away. They get the fight. They get the Baron. Their gold lead is 10,000. Set up to win this game. The next major push or objective.
Yeah. The only criticism I have for Alvaro is he's not contributing to the Rell death fund. He's played a great series otherwise.
Ah, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot. The Jatt's pick'ems. He's
I
doing well in the context of League of Legends, but as far as Jatt's pick'ems goes, he's really letting us down.
A lot of people picked Rell for most deaths.
To be honest, it's like, it's Rell or Nautilus. I feel like if you picked anything else, it's just who you think is going to be more prevalent in the meta.
Yeah.
I've just heard and been informed by production that our producers have picked Nautilus, so it's a bit divided here.
Fair enough.
In terms of the English feed.
I think they're going to win on this push.
I think that's probably a safe call. VKE need a bit of a miracle here. In the face of a lock, in the face of defensive itemization now coming out, they might not even have enough damage to take down these isolated targets. Has to be a flawless engage from VKE just to buy themselves more time, more space in this game. You can see the ball strapped to Gury, ready to try to make that shockwave play happen.
Yep, slow pushing this bot wave in. Myrwn holding Q3 to try and threaten with this move forward. Fresskowy threatening from the side, so he's really preventing an engage to come through on the wave, since no one can really get past him.
So difficult. Single auto is really all it takes to slowly chip away at this objective. Luckily, the waves are not synced.
Yeah.
Or I believe the initial wave is deleted, and then they're able to walk mid. Now they're able to walk back here to really deny those 2 points of pressure. Means that MDK can't just immediately move in and take this tower. But Gury, you can see the poke of the Nidalee is a big threat. And Supa now starting to threaten mid.
Here we go.
Gury walking up, Nanaue off to the side. Chompers down. Supa ghosting, staying alive thus far, but has to flash back under the tower. Split from the rest of his team. Surely VKE. This is the time to try and find an angle, but Fresskowy, quick scatter. Q3 coming in from Myrwn, hitting onto 2. Rocket goes in. Nanaue still alive. Myrwn taken down. Curtain call there. Alvaro going to be in trouble. Locket can't save him from this one.
Fresskowy
pulled back. Katy with clean plays. The shutdown there. Nanaue stepping up, though. He can't afford to do that. Too much damage needed to wait for the rest of the team. VKE slowly winning this fight, but they can't afford to get over eager. That's the reset now coming in for Supa. They have to get the hell out. VKE holding. It's taking everything they've got, but they're slowing MDK down. Yeah, no more ult left.
I mean, Supa is so fed, but this has been such a hold by Vikings here. They actually got it 3 for 3. I think they're still losing their inhibs just because the Nidalee is supercharging Supa's Jinx here.
He has to be careful about walking too far forward. There's not a lot of kill threat on him quite yet. It looks like they want to go for 3 inhibitors. Banshee's taken out. Supa likely to just be able to grab this objective. MDK much stronger in the 2v2. It's really only that tower keeping VKE safe, but they're going to hold. They're going to live to fight another day. That should have been the end, but credit to VKE finding creative angles, taking Myrwn out of the equation and holding on. It costs them a lot to do so, but every minute they spend in this game, they get a bit more money, a bit more time to scale up. You can see Shogun now at 3 items. Maybe they'll have a shot in the next one.
Oh, that's
Supa,
potentially huge.
Flash over, looking to finish it. Flame Chopper, shutdown, clutch from Katy. Supa caught sleeping. Massive gold injection for this Orianna. Baron not on the table. It won't matter too much in the grand scheme of things, but a start for VKE to find their way back. Shogun can't afford to get caught here, though. The movement speed, enough to get him out.
I mean, Drakos, there's even after that, there's still 9,000 gold down. Like, this was a gargantuan gold gap coming into that base defense. They might get another objective bounty on this top turret. I think it's actually just collect as many objective bounties as you can while you have Supa down. Who cares about the Drake at the moment, since that's what Elyoya was taking down.
And I think the thing is, MDK, you're in a position to close this game out. You should be able to do so cleanly at this stage, right? And I think for the critics of any MDK mid to late game probably feel like they're eating good right now. But in this kind of position, MDK, you know, all it takes is one more auto, one little thing to go slightly more in their favor, and this game is instantly over. And that is still true in every fight that will come for at least the next few minutes, because VKE are still massively far behind.
They really are. But they have Jarvan ult, they have Orianna ult, and Supa has no flash. Those 3 things could mean a comeback. There's about 9 or 10 things that mean Matt is going to easily close this game.
Sure.
So there's still 2 inhibitors down. They can slow walk those super minions in. Fresskowy's in the top side. He's the carry that still has flash. He didn't use it in that last fight, even though I thought he would when the Orianna caught him inside the base. If they can crash the 2 waves of supers while that 3rd wave hits, they can get the 3rd inhibitor down and just end the game. But they do have to be a little bit careful because of that engage that Vikings have.
Very good side step on the Shattering Strike. Any piece of CC hitting means an immediate spear follow-up, potential death sentence. But the push on the top side, not going to come through too much, but bot wave, you can see, as well as mid wave now moving in, will give a little bit more license for MDK to push top uncontested. Waves, however, still staggered a tiny bit. 44 seconds on Baron. MDK Playing with respect for VKE after the last instance. A little bit more tutorial style maybe than they had initially planned, needing to take everything off the map, make sure that this is as much in their favor before they really start a fight.
Yeah, Myrwn's back here because if Jarvan tries to fly in, Myrwn can come from the backside. But if they engage on him fast, it could be trouble.
Nice sidestep coming in from Myrwn to get away from the captive audience. Immediate pick onto Gury, and that should just be it. That's all it takes. Single mistake, single misstep. One of the 9 or 10 reasons you were talking about, Jatt. MDK have the gold advantage. The team fight options limited already for VKE with full 5 members, but before, there should just be no shot. It'll take a miracle for them to get anything done here.
Yeah, Orianna sells really good wave clear, but this is the 3rd inhibitor likely going down. Vikings just so difficult for them to hold. They can try an Alistar Orianna combo, but that might not be enough damage to take out a carry. And Supa Splash is almost back.
That's so much pressure on Katy. You can see Shogun about to fall. Katy, a good shockwave buys you time. A bad shockwave loses you the game. So much pressure on this lineup to hold the line, but instantly Alvaro finds the angle, and the fight's over before it even starts. MDK 2-0 to start their run in the World's 2024 Swiss stage. Excellent game 2, excuse me, Play-Ins stage.
And I'd say Alvaro had a spectacular series. I think there's some nitpicky things you could point to for Mad in here where, oh, they should have won cleaner, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, they are 2-0 against Vikings, who I do not think people should sleep on. They should not be sleeping on the VCS Vikings.